up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Yesterday we talked about wine. Today we're going to counterbalance that and talk about working out. So I told you guys a while back that I have actually quit running, and I was such an enthusiastic runner for such a long time because I just loved the ease of it, the quickness of it, the way that it made me feel. It was just really, really good for my mind. It turned out to not be that good for my body, honestly, in the long run. I was really wearing out my joints. My knees are really mad at me still. And I was really training my body in a way that was not very well balanced for what I needed. I found that my glutes weren't really being used at all. My arms got kind of weak. And the best results that I have ever experienced from a workout have been when I'm consistently doing high intensity interval training. That said, you guys may or may not know, but I don't like showing up places on time unless it's work. I just don't want the extra stress on my brain of having to show up to a workout class, especially when it's with other people and they make me touch them. I can't with that. I can't touch strangers, especially sweaty strangers, and something about going and paying to go to a class where I have to show up on time, where I may or may not have to touch a sweaty stranger, it overwhelms my mind. So I have gotten to the point where I really, really like to work out at home, and I am very motivated to do so. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. Tons of people tell me the literal opposite of what I just said, where they're like, I cannot train at home. The only way that I can get a good workout is if I've got someone else bossing me around. I totally get that. So for a long time, I was doing yoga at home because that seemed like a really good way to recover from all of the kind of long-term overuse injuries that I've had from running. And then I got engaged and I was like looking... Get off of me. And I was actually looking through some of my old videos, actually. I don't really remember what compelled me to do that, but I saw kind of my body when I was doing all that high intensity interval training, and I was like, damn, like my shoulders look amazing. My arms look incredible. Like, and I just wanted to get that back. And I know that I don't want to go back to a group environment like that or start doing like CrossFit or something like that because I tend to obsess. So I needed to figure out how to do it at home, and I remembered this amazing workout that we used to do at the gym that I used to go to here in Austin, and that is called Tabata. Are you guys familiar with that? If you are, great, but if you're not, I'm going to tell you about it. So a Tabata workout is a high-intensity interval training. So high-intensity interval training just means that you exercise really hard for a certain amount of time, and then you rest for a certain amount of time, and then you do it again. And a lot of times your intervals are like a minute or 2 minutes or whatever, and you tend to do as many reps as you can inside that time period, and you just really, really, really work yourself out, and then you let your body rest, and then you just throw yourself back into it, and it actually is a really good way to make your body burn fat. It's a really great way to build muscle. It's just a very good way of packing a great workout into a short amount of time. You start to see results really, really quickly with high-intensity interval training. That said, not everybody can do something for an entire minute, especially at their full power. If you're doing something that requires bursts of energy like a jump squat. I am a girl, and girls are kind of known to have strong legs and glutes. I didn't fall into that category. I just don't have very strong legs and glutes, and so jump squats wear me out really quickly. And so a lot of times those like 1 minute long intervals just don't work for me. I get too tired and I don't really end up getting the most out of the workout. Tabata is actually backed by a good bit of research, and I will get into that in a second, but the basis of it is that it is a 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off interval, and that is a really, really quick interval, and you do it 8 times per exercise. So the way that I actually do it is that so that I don't get super bored, is I do 4 Tabatas, which end up being 4 minutes long a piece, and I rest in between, and then I do 2 exercises per Tabata. But before we get into that, I want to tell you kind of about the history of it. This is just from a website called active.com. Tabata training was discovered by Japanese scientist Dr. Izumi Tabata and a team of researchers from the National Institute of Fitness and Sports in Tokyo. Tabata and his team conducted research on 2 groups of athletes. The first group trained at a moderate intensity level, while the second group trained at a high intensity level. The moderate intensity group worked out 5 days a week for a total of 6 weeks. Each workout lasted 1 hour. The high-intensity group worked out for 4 days a week for 6 weeks. Each workout lasted 4 minutes and 20 seconds with 10 seconds of rest in between each step. The results, Group 1 had increased their aerobic system, cardiovascular, but showed little or no results from the anaerobic system, which is your muscles. Group 2 showed much more increase in their aerobic system than Group 1 and increased their anaerobic system by 28%. So like I said, it is an ideal form of exercise if what you're looking for is physical results. You're looking for your muscles to get built and to get kind of like cut, you know what I mean? The Tabata program is described as each exercise in a given Tabata workout lasts only 4 minutes, but it's likely to be one of the longest 4 minutes you've ever endured. The structure of the program is as follows: work out hard for 20 seconds. They want you to be like pushing yourself to your limit for 20 seconds, rest for 10 seconds, and you complete that 8 times. The examples that they give is actually doing the exact same workout 8 times in a row. What I end up doing, this is what they did at the gym that I used to go to, and that's why I do it and why I learned that I like it, is that I choose 2 exercises and I alternate them 4 times each. So it comes out to 8. And that just keeps me from getting bored. Also, it helps me kind of diversify the whole workout so that I'm not just only sore in one spot tomorrow. I don't know. I feel like if I do something 8 times, I will be like dead by the end of it. If I can kind of alternate between the 2, I actually do the workout harder because I'm only doing each one 4 times and I can kind of mentally prepare myself. If I'm looking down the barrel of 7 more rounds of mountain climbers after the first round kicks my butt, like I'm not gonna be as motivated throughout that workout. Everybody's different. You might want to just keep it really simple. Choose 4 exercises, do each one 8 times. I always do 4 rounds of Tabata, and so that means basically 4 minutes each. And for me, it's like just enough where I feel like my butt is thoroughly kicked at the end, but I also feel like it stretches me. By round 4, I'm not so tired that I'm like, I want to quit, and I'm just kind of like phoning it in through the whole thing. On number 4, I'm just like, yes, let's lay it all out on the line. Let's do this. And then, you know, between the warm-up, the rests in between, and then the cool-down, I think the whole thing takes me like, you know, 25 minutes, which is great for people who don't have a ton of time and you still want to get a good workout in. You could do this in 25 minutes in the morning or the evening, and it really doesn't take that much out of your schedule, especially if you do it at home. So a couple of the workouts that I have been doing recently, I do just kind of write my own workouts based on the exercises that I know to be really effective for me, but there are a lot out there. I highly encourage you to kind of Google it, see what other people are doing. I have actually downloaded a Tabata timer. I can link it below. I think there are a lot of them out there. This one's just really straightforward. It's free, it's simple, and it just counts it for you. That's the only thing I really needed to do. And the best thing about doing it at home is that you can do it on your own terms with your own music all by yourself. So the workouts that I have been doing lately, and I will kind of show some demonstrations here. The first one is a squat to overhead press against a burpee. Your squat to overhead press is going to be more of a muscle workout, and it's going to work kind of your glutes as well as your core and your arms and shoulders, but then the burpee is more plyometric, and so it's also, you gotta really pep talk your way through some burpees. I highly recommend, if you are like me and you tend to kind of get sloppy, sort of throwing your limbs around, take a burpee in your head kind of like 1 step at a time. Drop down on the floor, don't try and move your legs in the same motion. Pop the legs back under you, and then get back up, but like, don't try and do everything in one fluid motion. I have really like thrown my like hip flexor out doing that. So I really encourage you guys, before you start doing any of these exercises, to look up how the best way to do them is, the proper way to do them is, or you can actually injure yourself. The next one I'll do is a mountain climber against a chest press. So again, that mountain climber is going to get your heart rate up. It's very plyometric. Whereas the chest press is going to very much kind of target your biceps, your shoulders, your chest muscles, and it's also going to let you have kind of an active recovery after you've kicked your butt doing the mountain climbers, because mountain climbers, you can do like 4 mountain climbers in a second, and so it's like, wow, that's really long 20 seconds every time you're doing it. So then you can kind of start renewed every time, otherwise you just get really sick of freaking mountain climbers. Then I'll do what I call a traveling push-up, and I will actually use my meditation cushion for that, and it's just sort of like, I will do it on my knees just because I do so many other things using my core that I really just can't make it through if I do it as kind of a regular push-up, and so I will do it as like a down on the knees push-up, and I'm just essentially like using my arms to change sides as I'm doing the push-ups. And then I will do back lunges. That's also really meditative for me. I am using kind of 12-pound weights in each hand, and lunges are all about form. It's about keeping your shoulders back, it's about keeping your spine straight, and when you step back, just kind of keeping everything in alignment and not being lazy. And so I find that that really balances well against something as kind of aggressive as that push-up. And so then I go into a jump squat, which absolutely destroys me. Like I said, jump squats, I keep them in my workout because they absolutely kill me, and they are like what I have to keep practicing at, because I just have really weak quads and my glutes aren't great either. And so I do that against up downs, and up downs are probably one of my favorite exercises. It's just basically a plank where you start with your arms straight, and then you go down on your elbows and come back up kind of as fast as you can. and I find that they make me feel so strong. I think it's really important to balance between the kinds of exercises that you actually like doing. Like, I like doing a chest press because my arms and my chest are already really strong, and so the upper body strength, like, it gives me the confidence to then go into an exercise that I'm maybe not as good at. So I like to kind of put those two kinds of things together. So I put the jump squat up against the up downs just to kind of keep my own morale up. Another example of one of my workouts recently, because I do like to mix it up, I've been doing a plank row against kind of an oblique side to side. I don't really know what that's called, but it's essentially where you sit in like boat pose, like you would in yoga, and you just kind of hold your core really tight and you go side to side, and it basically works your obliques on the sides. And then the plank row, again, that's just sort of like something that I'm comfortable with, just kind of being in a plank and then just, you know, pulling those weights back and working my back, because it actually really is important if you are like a, you know, strong upper body person, that if you have like a strong chest and strong biceps, that you also counterbalance that by working out your back muscles, because otherwise your muscles will tighten up in your chest and you'll get like poor posture. And so you want to make sure that all of that stays balanced out. So it is important to just kind of like think about those things and maybe, again, research online, because a lot of people already have these things figured out. You don't necessarily have to go reinvent the wheel. And then I'll go to the same thing, the overhead press against the burpee, and then up downs versus a kettle swing. So the up downs, again, make me feel very strong, and they really push me, but then I'll go to a kettle swing, which it works your thighs and it burns your butt so hard. It's not a very difficult concept, but a kettle swing, I actually just use weights. I don't use a kettlebell. But when I do those, like, yes, the concept is simple, but it helps me really concentrate on my form to make sure that I'm getting the right burn while I'm doing it. And then the last one is actually, both of these are kind of borrowed from another interval workout called the Spartacus workout, which if you are looking to diversify your high intensity interval training, the Spartacus workout is also fantastic. There's a bunch of apps you can download to do Spartacus. One is the goblet squat, and the other is what they call the crucifix push-up. So the goblet squat is where you kind of hold your hands in like a goblet shape with the weight, and you do some really sincere, brutal squats, and you just let the underneath of your glutes burn out. And then the crucifix push-up, I actually, instead of holding on to the weights, I will keep one weight in between my hands, do the push-up, and then throw my hand back. And actually, the crucifix push-up is a little hard because it's hard to do very many of them inside of that 20 seconds. So sometimes I will kind of like push it a little bit further outside the 20 seconds, go into my rest time, but that's just a personal preference. I just like to push myself. Like, if I'm already there, I'm gonna go ahead and push myself. But other than that, I mean, it's just a matter of having a good amount of protein in my diet, and then also focusing on getting all my micronutrients, all of my greens and everything. And I don't drink very often. I drink absolutely tons of water. And I know that if I really wanted to shred, I could just take some of the more fluffy carbs out of my diet, but right now I enjoy those. Doesn't really bother me. We'll see. I don't know. Again, I tend to obsess, so I don't want to get super obsessed super quickly, but it is so nice to have a workout that only takes about 25 minutes, and it truly kicks my butt. Like, I am done afterwards. So that's how I have been working out lately. I just wanted to share that with you guys because I know how daunting it can be to kind of look down the barrel of your whole day and be like, okay, cool. So I've got an 8-hour work day. I've got a commute on either side of that. I have a full morning of whatever the crap it is you do when you wake up and you're just trying to confront the world. And then you get home and you're like, oh, I don't want to do anything, and then I have to make dinner and whatever. You can get a workout in. You can. And it doesn't have to be gym sanctioned. It doesn't have to be on someone else's schedule. You can do it in the time, like you get home, you know, your significant other or whoever you live with, or maybe you live alone, you just have other obligations, you can say, I need 30 minutes. I need 30 minutes, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna go and I'm going to put the time in and take care of myself and get these endorphins flowing. So working out, getting some exercise, getting your heart rate up, doing kind of what your body wants you to do as a human being is a big part of your self-care routine. So don't shame yourself for not doing it up until now. Just change your perspective on it and think about it as something that you're giving to yourself instead of something that you're obligated to do and to maintain. Like, no, this is me time. This is how I focus on me for 30 minutes. And when you get done with this workout, this is not like yoga where you get done and you're like, wow, I'm sweaty, but I wonder if that did anything. Like, no way. You get done with this and like your abs are kind of more pronounced, like right after the workout. Like, it's a really, really good feeling. So if you're looking for something that's going to motivate you with results, high intensity interval training is going to be that thing, especially if you back it up with a really good diet. But if you are the type of person who gets really bored doing one workout for a minute, then try Tabata. 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 4 minutes of Tabata, you do 4 Tabatas. If you're anything like me, it's going to kind of dial in exactly what you need in a workout. So I will link the actual app below that I use, but you could probably just search Tabata timer on your app store and find it. I think there might be some on YouTube too, you know what I mean? And also if you want more kind of exercises that you can integrate into this based on whatever needs, whatever parts of your body you feel like working out, then you know, those are available online. This is definitely not something that's that I invented. So I'm just sharing it with you guys because before I knew this existed, I really did think of every workout needing to be an hour long, and I was like, that's just not gonna work long term in my schedule. And so a really nice, quick, effective workout is really fantastic for me, and I hope that this helps any of you who might be interested in getting the same thing or the same results. So guys, if you enjoyed this, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you did. And guys, I hope you're having a great week so far. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.